Guess what? The better baseball player at a college level is going to want to transfer to Stetson over UConn because of exposure and because UConn is in the Northeast, which isn't that appealing for a baseball player.
A former D1 college baseball player is going to share his knowledge about betting baseball and how he does it, how we should be doing it as well. I'm going to go ahead and react to this video in real time with you guys, break it down what he is saying, if it makes sense, if it's how you should actually be betting baseball, and then I am going to show you guys how to actually bet the MLB or baseball profitably. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into this former D1 baseball player's advice about betting baseball. In this example, he's going to be talking mostly about college baseball, but we're going to go ahead and translate this into betting the MLB towards the end of the video.
If you actually want to win betting college baseball games this year, this is all you need to focus on. It's not pitching matchups, it's not hitter matchups, because these kids are 18, 19, 20 years old. Focus on the schools themselves. What I mean by this is, guys, college baseball is one of the only college sports where big name schools usually aren't the best programs. For example, it's 9:48, the Stetson UConn game starts in about 10 minutes. The thing with this matchup that's really interesting is UConn is minus 145, but the reality is Stetson, a small school in Florida, has much better baseball players than UConn. So why would Stetson be an underdog? They have more transfers from junior college. They have much better players. They have much better pitching. They've been practicing all year long in the winter in 60, 70 degree weather. They're ready to see live pitching. UConn has been up in the Northeast all winter long, 20, 30 degree weather. They haven't been outside a lot. If they are, it's not very up-to-date live pitching. They haven't.
So he's basically saying that each of these teams are preparing differently for the season or for the games, right? Maybe fair. Maybe UConn is inside, indoor, maybe a little bit more pitching machine. Sure. But if he doesn't think that Vegas knows everything that he's already said in this video, that Stetson, a team in Florida, could be outside facing more live pitching, etc., then he's crazy. The books already know all of this, right? They're baking it into the lines they've already set. And if UConn is heavily favored, it's because the books, based off of everything under the sun, everything taken into consideration, believes this has a better chance to hit for UConn's money line than Stetson at this moment. All right, let's keep going.
They haven't seen a live 95-mile-an-hour arm every day like Stetson has. So Stetson's ready to go. Also, if you look at the roster, I would guarantee you Stetson has way more depth in the bullpen. UConn, guys, and no disrespect, UConn is a good program, but when you're playing a school like Stetson that nobody knows, guess what? The better baseball player at a college level is going to want to transfer to Stetson over UConn because of exposure and because UConn is in the Northeast, which isn't that appealing for a baseball player. Also, younger recruits from UConn, they're studs from the Northeast region. Guys, I was from the Northeast. I can tell you firsthand, competition in high school in the Northeast is hardly anything compared to the Southeast or in a warm environment for that matter. So the point...
None of that actually matters. UConn can recruit from anywhere across the nation. Might have a lot of guys from near there, but still, doesn't matter.
Of all of this is look at the smaller schools where there is more appeal to a high-end professional level baseball player, because a lot of these guys know they're just 1 year away from getting drafted either again or in the slot they want to at a smaller no-name school that's located in a warm environment. Now you can say, what about all these small schools that suck in warm environments? That's where you got to do your research and understand what programs you're looking at, because a school like Dallas Baptist that most people would overlook is ranked 20th in preseason this year out of all of the schools in the entire country, 400 plus D1 division schools. So guys.
All right. So yeah, casual people that don't pay attention to baseball might see that school and be like, what the heck? How are they ranked 20th? But people that actually matter, people that watch it, like sportsbooks and such, or the people giving out these rankings, right, have them ranked 20th for a reason, right? All of this is for a reason.
The point of this video is saying ignore the public favorites, especially in college baseball. UConn will probably not beat Stetson. In fact, UConn might end up with a better record, but that's because they're playing schools that are not as strong as the team Stetson will play down in Florida. So it's all about matchups. It's all about competition, who has better pitching and who has more of a consistent lineup. Stetson has players that are ready to go. I would guarantee you, out of the starting 9, Stetson has more experienced college players than his.
I mean, this guy just said it's all about who has better starting pitching. It all is about who's more consistent. Well, no duh. Now, I will say Stetson did go on to win against UConn in this game he was talking about, so bravo for that. But really, what he said was a whole lot of nothing and does not even translate to actually betting baseball profitably. Basically, going back to what I said earlier, this guy essentially told us that the sportsbooks don't know what they're talking about, and he is much smarter than these sportsbooks. Remember, these sportsbooks have multi-million-dollar algorithms and models, taking everything into consideration when they set their odds and projections. This guy is going off of where players are based when they get recruited to these colleges. Or the fact that one team is located in warmer weather and can play outside more often. Like, sure, maybe that's tied into it. But if you're crazy if you don't think the sportsbooks already are baking stuff like that into their lines. I promise, everything that he thinks he knows or you think you know about MLB or college baseball is baked into these sportsbooks odds and more. And now that leads me into teaching you guys how to bet the MLB profitably by using the sportsbooks and their data to our advantage to find bets that are so far off on certain sportsbooks when comparing to the rest of the sportsbook market. If you're looking up anything that guy was talking about, or looking up last 5, last 10 game logs, or how Aaron Judge has done against the Red Sox in his last 30 games, you are doing it completely wrong, and you're probably a losing sports bettor. And I say that because if you look at Aaron Judge's last 30 games against the Red Sox, that absolutely shows nothing. It's different pitchers he was facing, different spots in the lineup he could have been hitting. There is so many different variables that it comes into play each new game in the MLB or any sport for that matter. Once again, the sportsbooks have all of that data. The faster you accept that you are not smarter than the sportsbooks and learn that the price or odds you are getting a bet at is the most important thing, the faster you'll become a profitable sports bettor. I do the same exact strategy I'm about to show you when betting the NBA, and so far in 2025, betting the NBA, I'm up $6,500. This is a mathematically proven strategy to be profitable called plus EV betting, where you are essentially finding a bet where the odds are so far off the rest of the market, it becomes a profitable bet for you, and you gain an edge against whatever book you are betting it on. You are finding odds that don't match the actual expected outcome via the rest of the market. I actually use this website called Daily Grind Fantasy that helps me compare sportsbooks lines and odds directly back to these different apps like Novig, PrizePicks, Underdog, and other different DFS apps to find this value. Daily Grind Fantasy pulls all of the sportsbook data into one place at one time for you to be able to quickly and efficiently scan the market, and then on the back end, it does the math to find the true fair odds percentage or odds percent to hit these sportsbooks are giving these plays. For instance, on PrizePicks, the sportsbooks are giving Harrison Barnes a 54% chance to hit the under of 3.5 rebounds, which technically isn't a profitable play on PrizePicks because in 5 and 6 man flexes, the most profitable slip types on PrizePicks, you need to hit at a 54.2% clip in order to be profitable over the long term on your individual legs. However, this is about betting the MLB, so let me show you the type of plays you should be searching for this MLB season. This right here is a great example of a bet you want to be placing when betting the MLB, especially here on PrizePicks. You can see the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer was recommending for us to take the over of 7.5 strikeouts for Logan Gilbert. But why is that? If we look across the sportsbook market, we can see that majority of sportsbooks had this set to 7.5 strikeouts as well, but they were pretty heavily favoring the over of 7.5 strikeouts at maybe average odds of about -135, -140. But not only that, 3 sportsbooks have now already bumped this up to 8.5 strikeouts as their projection. We see that this, based off of all the sportsbook data that we have coming in, they were giving this a 54.74% chance to hit the over of 7.5 strikeouts. On PrizePicks in a 5 or 6 man flex, we are getting this exact play at -119 odds. So the best number and the best odds across the entire sportsbook market. Essentially, the sportsbook market paints the picture for us. They are simply telling us that this has a much better chance to hit the over of 7.5 strikeouts than what PrizePicks believes it actually does. Now let's actually get into why price or odds of a bet really matter. Now this is on Fliff, which is a sweepstakes sportsbook. Works very much like a sportsbook. You can either parlay or straight bet bets. In this case, we were going to be straight betting Nestor Cortez under 5.5 strikeouts at +110 odds. If we look across at the entire sportsbook market, they have this at about average odds of -109. So essentially, like before, they are saying this has a much better chance to hit the under based off the odds they are giving this play than what Fliff believes it does at the price they are giving of plus 110. Remember, with sports betting odds, the higher a minus number is, the more likely that outcome is to happen. And the higher a plus number is, the less likely that is to happen. So, based off this example, we can all agree that Fliff is disagreeing with the rest of the market and believes this has a lesser chance to happen. So now let's talk about placing a $100 wager on Nestor Cortez under 5.5 strikeouts at plus 110 odds. If we did that, we would profit $110. However, if we took it at the market average of minus 109, like the sportsbook market has it, right, we would only profit $91. Almost a difference of $20 in payout just by line comparing and finding the best possible odds, and then also gaining the confidence from 5 other sportsbooks that this has a much better chance to happen based off the odds they are giving it. Line shopping and finding where you can get the best bang for your buck is something you already do in everyday life. You just need to start applying it to sports betting. For instance, if you were shopping for a car in real life and there were 4 different dealerships that had that Tesla you wanted, right? But they all had different prices. For instance, dealership A had it at $60,000, dealership B had it at $61,000, dealership C had it at $56,000, dealership D had it at $59,000. Where are you going to buy this car? Of course, you're going to buy this at dealership C at the cheapest possible price, the best bang for your buck, and long term, if you buy 6 other cars just like this and shop where you can get the best deal, you are technically saving money, aka making money in the long term. Or even grocery shopping. You're making plus EV decisions to go to Walmart every single week for your weekly groceries instead of Publix or Target because you know you're going to save about $20 a week by making that decision. That adds up. $20 every single week is about $80 a month, and then almost $1,000 in savings a year just from making that simple decision. It's the exact same in sports betting, where you're going to be line shopping and finding where you can get bets that are going to pay you out $10, $20, $30, $40 in extra profit when you win. That's going to add up as well. Now imagine you can find 40 or 50 bets just like this every single night, which is doable when plus EV betting. Or how about bets even just like this where the projection is off from the sports books? You can see Jared Jones was listed at 5 strikeouts on PrizePicks, and the optimizer was recommending taking the under. But why is that? You can see that majority of these sports books have this set to 4.5 and favoring the under of 4.5. Now, Bovada did have it set to 5.5 with very heavy juice at minus 200 to the under of 5.5 strikeouts. So Bovada's off in the projection technically as well, but their odds kind of make sense. However, on PrizePicks, we are getting this 0.5 off the majority of the market at 5 strikeouts instead of 4.5, and we're getting it at minus 119 odds, which is better odds than some of these books that have it set to 4.5. This has almost a 59% chance to hit, which is well above that 54.2% that we need in 5 and 6 man flexes on PrizePicks to be profitable long term. Now don't get me wrong, just like any sportsbook, PrizePicks hates when the user has an edge against them. They're going to do everything in their power to bump or remove this play as fast as possible to make sure as many people do not get this in as they can. But that's why Daily Grind Fantasy is so clutch, and it updates in real time, showing us when something like this gets posted on PrizePicks, where we have an edge, and allows us to go ahead and get this in before the bumps. If you guys do want to check out Daily Grind Fantasy, I'll leave a link down in the description below, but if you use code DustinDGF30, you'll get 25% off your very first month. Now, finding the best possible value in plus EV betting does not guarantee you are going to hit every single bet, but it does guarantee you an edge against the books long term, and that's what we're looking for. Think about it like flipping a weighted coin. Me and you are going to flip against each other. I have heads, you have tails, but the coin I have has a 55% chance to land on heads and a 45% chance to land on tails. Sure, you can go on a winning streak and myself a losing streak where tails comes out maybe 10, 15 times in a row. However, over the long term, if we flip this coin 10,000 times, I'm going to end up coming out on top because I have an edge in a weighted coin against you. That's simply all we're trying to do. Gain a mathematical edge against the sports books, and over the long term, math is going to work itself out and we'll be profitable. So please stop listening to guys like this on TikTok or scrolling the last 5 game logs on PrizePicks to decide what you're going to bet. Start gaining a real mathematical edge long term against the books by doing what I'm saying, plus EV betting. I've done a few other in-depth MLB betting videos if you guys want to check those out here on this channel, but this is going to be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed or learned something. If you did, make sure you leave a like and don't forget the subscribe button on the way out as we post sports betting content like this every single week.